Oh my God, do I have a routine? I really love rituals. I find that when I just have a loose framework, it allows me actually the ultimate freedom. When I just have like a blank page, it almost kind of like paralyzes me. I'm like, what am I filling my time with? And so I find, to speak a little bit to masculine and feminine energetics, a lot of people talk how they really want to be kind of in this flow state and be in very like this feminine energy. And I find that to actually be in your ultimate feminine energetic, it's most supportive to have maybe that masculine container, that masculine framework that allows yourself to kind of play within that space and time. So rituals are my favorite thing. I developed the monthly manifestation journal for this very reason, to just have a light framework that allows yourself to really get into the flexibility of what rituals you want to build for yourself. So I'm really, really big on visualizing. So really, I think one of the keys to manifestation, being it before you become it, right? Let's say, I want to break this down in a very tangible way. Let's say that you are calling in a partner. You are calling in someone that you are wanting to date, right? And Anna Grace, I think you've had her on your podcast. She explained this so well to me once, where she was, everybody has this higher timeline. It's your highest self. It's you achieving all of the things that you could have ever possibly wanted to achieve. And she's like, throughout your day, you're always hitting that timeline at little bits and moments. But you have to intentionally kind of retune to that, right? And I almost see that high timeline as like a radio frequency channel. Let's call it like channel 99.9. Let's get back to like radio station days. So that is your highest timeline. And when you're wanting to kind of calibrate to that, maybe we're hanging out at an 89.9, but right, we have to tune our tuners to almost hit that level, that frequency. And so through ritual and through really this visualization process, and I'll get back to kind of our example of calling in a partner, right? We have to almost tune and match that. So who do we want to be so that we can become that version of self that's ready to call in that partner, that's deserving of that partner, right? We already are innately deserving, inherently always deserving of what we want and our desires, but how do we match that frequency? And so that is really the kind of crux of what I do every single day. My rituals always come back. Who am I being so that I can become that version of self, right? I might not feel that way yet, but who's the version of self that's calling in that partner, right? How are they showing up? How are they dressing? How are they socializing? How are they, moving their body? How are they just showing up in the world in public at the grocery store, right? Like these little things that I think tether us back to who we know we innately are. And really to match kind of that highest level of energetics. So every morning, my morning rituals look like I do about like 10 or 15 minutes of meditating. I do a lot of, it's really whatever I'm needing. Sometimes I just need to kind of like recalibrate my energy, calm my nervous system. Lately, I've been doing a ton of kind of higher self visualizations, really stepping into that creator archetype, and kind of that gives myself that pep talk of really showing up for myself in the right way. And then I back into pleasure practices, like I mentioned earlier, of what are the pleasure practices that I want to do today, this version of self is. And so maybe that's showing up to an early morning Pilates class before a podcast. Maybe that is getting in a morning walk or some steps. Maybe that is taking some time to just make myself a really, really delicious matcha. Maybe it's kind of putting down the t-shirt I've worn for 3 days in a row, getting my clothes from the dry cleaner and putting on that amazing shirt that I love and styling a really fun outfit. And so, or planning drinks with friends later because I'm feeling flirty and fun and I'm in my ovulation phase, right? And so I think just leaning into that has been such a fun practice. And actually in the journal, there are daily pages that help you, these pleasure practices, list out your to-do lists and who that archetype is that you've crafted for yourself that month, that you're embodying that day. But this is something you don't even need the manifestation journal to do that. Like you can whip out your own piece of paper, you can create your own rituals around this. But I find that is the best like secret sauce for my day. It just sets the entire tone and the foundation for how I want to show up.